ice fishing is just a couple weeks away where I live in New Hampshire, and luckily there's no ice on this pond yet. And today I'm going to be throwing a big swim bait. I'm going to be throwing the Savage Gear 3D Trout, I think it's called 3D Pulse Tail Trout. This is the 8-inch version. And I decided to bring it here to this specific pond because this pond is stocked with rainbow and brown trout every single year. And in my unprofessional opinion, I think the biggest and baddest bass are gonna be in trout stocked ponds and lakes, just because the bass are gonna have like an unlimited supply of just protein. So that's why I decided to throw this here. And Savage Gear has really stepped up their game when it comes to swim baits. They even added in this trailer hook on the back here with a treble hook, and it just fits perfectly into the back of the swim bait here. A solid stout hook, so if I catch a 5-6 pounder on it, probably not going to. You guys probably aren't even gonna see this video because I'm probably not even gonna get a bite. And this bait is also scented, believe it or not. It smells like Hawaiian Punch, to me anyway. And now I've been throwing swim baits quite a few times this year, and just with no luck. I actually just threw the Storm Arashi Glide just maybe a couple weeks ago and didn't even get a follow on it. Also thrown other swim baits as well and didn't even get bit on it, so hopefully that changes today. This Savage Gear bait I basically specifically bought for this small pond. I say it's a small pond. It is probably, I don't know, maybe about 70 acres, 80 acres or so. The thing is, there's like a 50-foot hole in the middle here, so it is pretty deep even though I call it a pond. Now, I got this swim bait tied to 65-pound Power Pro braid to an 8-foot Dobbins Fury swim bait rod, and then I have a Shimano Tranx 300. Now, I have this aftermarket handle on it. Bad idea on my part. I should have just left the power knob on it or whatever it's called, but another thing too about this place, oh, that looks good in the water. Another thing too about this place is usually it's super clear. I usually can see like 10 feet to the bottom, no problem, but the water here is super dirty. I don't know why that is. I only maybe have 2 feet of visibility. No, just from being here before, I know off the bank where I am right now is roughly about 20 feet. I could be in about 17 feet. I could be in about maybe 22 feet. But I just know it's about 20 feet. So what I'm going to do is just push myself off the bank, maybe, I don't know, 30 yards, and fish off of the bank about 30 yards the whole way around this pond. Because this pond is shaped like a bowl, it's pretty shallow on the sides, and then it just gets deeper the more you get to the middle. So I don't want to be fishing the middle because I don't think the bass are going to be quite in that 40-50 foot range, but I do want to fish about 20 feet. And this is the only rod I brought with me today. But I'm just going to let my bait sink all the way to the bottom. And I'm just going to super slowly reel it back to me. Just like this. Maybe even slower. I just want that tail to slowly kick back and forth. And that's all I'm going to do today. Nothing fancy. Oh, wow. Look at that head movement. This bait is really nice under the water. I hope you guys saw that. This has a really nice, not only tail bump, but a body roll as well. And I'm just gonna work in a full circle around this pond. I don't know it well enough to know the rock piles offshore or anything like that, so basically I'm just blind casting into about 20 feet the entire way around this pond. Now, using a swim bait like this, I am most certainly not expecting to come out here and just hammer them. I'm thinking maybe one bite today and I'll be happy. And I do have about 4 hours before the sun goes down, so maybe in those 4 hours I can get a bite. But letting this bait sink to the bottom is really gonna be kind of risky getting it snagged up. But the cool thing about this bait is it's not terribly expensive. I believe it was just $19.99 for an 8-inch swim bait like that, and I think that is a very reasonable price. I got bit right there. I did. Are you serious? I got bit. I was not ready for that. Now I'm about halfway around this pond and so far only that one bite possibly to show for it. But this bait here is a slow sinking version. I believe they have two versions of the Savage Gear bait, the fast sink and slow sink. This is the slow sink. And this bait here is also 4 ounces. So it's a pretty heavy bait. It's not terribly heavy, but I don't think you're gonna be able to get away with throwing it on just any heavy rod. That's why I'm using a 8-foot heavy swim bait rod. But it's a little after 2 p.m. right now, so I have about 2 hours to fish, 2.5 hours to fish. So hopefully that's enough time to hook into some fish. Now, I don't know really what I was thinking coming here, just because I've come here a few times before and I've never done well here. I think I've caught 5 fish here in total, like the whole time I've ever fished here. So to catch 1 fish today, I think is a pretty tall order. But I'm just gonna kind of continue what I was doing, throwing it into about 20 feet of water. I might go a little bit more shallow than that. I might go a little bit more deep than that. I don't have any electronics to really help me, so I'm just kind of guessing because I've been here a few times earlier. I kind of have an idea of what the depth is here. But with this slow sink bait, it does take it a while to sink all the way down to that 20-foot range. Honestly, I think that's gonna be the ticket if I can find fish, is creeping this along the bottom as slow as I can. I think if I don't wait long enough and just start reeling it back mid-water column, yeah, I might get one that's a really active fish, but I don't think I'm really targeting really active fish right now with how cold the water is. It could have been weeds, but it felt like a fish. So that is it for this evening, and overall 0 fish, but that is to be expected. I didn't come here even expecting to get a follow. I was just coming here in the hopes that maybe by chance I'll get one. I do honestly kind of regret not bringing like a deep diving jerkbait, a drop shot, or just like a Kitech on a Kitech ball head or something like that, just because I do think I would have been able to catch a couple fish today had I been using some of those techniques. But there's just something about throwing big swim baits like this that is just super fun, and I may have gotten bit that one time, but I don't really know. And like I said, I'm gonna be ice fishing like next week or the week after that. The smaller ponds are already starting to freeze over, and I am pretty excited. Bought a bunch of new ice fishing gear. Can't wait to try it out this year. And overall, I was actually quite impressed with this bait. Now, in my opinion, Savage Gear isn't really known for making top tier swim baits, but I honestly have nothing bad to say about this bait. Now, I didn't get bit by a pickerel, so I really don't know durability, but just feeling this soft plastic, I really don't think durability is going to be too much of an issue. One of the ways that I tell that a bait is good or not, in my opinion, is that it has like tail kick and it has like a body roll. So a bait like a Kitech or a Megabass Hazadong shad, those both have a nice tail kick and a body roll to go with it. And that's exactly what this bait has. Not only does it have that nice tail kick with the wedge style tail, almost like a Huddleston, but when you bring this bait back to you, the head also wants to search back and forth like that. And I think that is a super cool thing that this swim bait does. Swim bait also does not only come in the 8-inch, it comes in the 6-inch, and I believe there's a 10-inch. Overall, I am quite happy with this swim bait. I'm definitely gonna bring it out again. I don't know if I'm gonna have time this year, but I'm definitely gonna be bringing it out next year in the springtime. Even though I didn't catch any fish today, the technique I was using is definitely a fish catching technique. This time of the year, right before ice, it's really the only way to catch fish is just super slow and on the bottom. I really don't think I was gonna even come close to catching any fish if I just casted it out and immediately started reeling in. Still think I'm gonna post this video because maybe you still might learn a little something. But I come out with videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Peace.